Hello guys, and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're going to be discussing Xdefiant, because as you can see, there is some Xdefiant gameplay in the background from the playtest that has just been happening. I do believe, as of me recording this, it is still live for a couple more hours. I do believe it got extended. Not sure for how long, but it has been extended. So if you guys haven't had the chance, you could still possibly get a game in or two. Don't know how long it's going to be on for, but it is probably the last couple of hours of the Xdefiant players test by the time you see this video. It might even be over by the time you see this video. But I wanted to talk about my thoughts and feelings, my experience of the playtest from me, and also kind of discuss whether this game is ready for launch or if it's even close to being ready for launch. And I also want you guys to let me know down in the comments below, what was your thoughts and feelings of the Xdefiant player test, if you played it, of course, or if not, by what you've seen. Are you interested in Xdefiant? Do you still think it has a chance of being a COD killer? Do you have any interest at all playing the game? And again, if you did play the playtest, what was your experience? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it okay? Were you not impressed? Let me know down below. I want to hear your thoughts and feelings. But I'm going to talk about my thoughts and feelings and then kind of discuss whether or not this game is ready for launch or close to being ready for launch. But we'll start with the first day, because I did play the first day of the Xdefiant playtest. And the first day for me was fantastic. Like, I couldn't be anything better, really. The gameplay was smooth for me. Connections were great. I didn't have any of these issues that people were talking about. Like, I did see it building up in the community, talking about, you know, bad server desync, bad connections, and it was a little bit bad with the hit detection and stuff, and audio and stuff. I didn't really experience that on the first day. I don't know if it was just me like being happy to play Xdefiant for once, because obviously this game was, people were wondering if this game was even going to happen at some point, because there was next to no communication about anything, and then out of nowhere it was like, oh yeah, Xdefiant playtest, it's coming soon. And yeah, it was just nice to play. I enjoyed it. The gameplay experience was nice. A little bit shallow at times, though. I do feel like this game is missing something, that little oomph to make it like its own. Like, it's nice that there's a good gameplay, and, you know, and it's okay to play, and, you know, it's got the simple things like card of a team deathmatch and domination and hardpoint. Obviously, it named its own little ways. But something feels shallow about it. Something feels missing. There doesn't seem to be something that's going to keep me playing. And it's something that, like, I'll play it at launch, but I can't see this game being a good game or just lasting a very long time. I could see it having a good month or two, but how is this game going to progress over time when it does launch? I don't know. I can't see anything that would make me keep playing like a Call of Duty does, with being able to level up. Obviously, Xdefiant has leveled ups and stuff. You know, you level up your guns, level up this. There is a camo grind. I don't know how eccentric their camo grind is going to be, because I believe that they've got like 4 camos or something to go for, which is like gold, diamond, and whatever, which of course you couldn't get in the beta. At least I don't believe you couldn't. You could in the original playtest session. But yeah, the first day was good though. Gameplay wise, I enjoyed it. Second day was when the issues started to arise. I started to find I was running into desync, I was running into ping connections, and I was running into this clunky movement that I started to feel, and I don't know what happened. And obviously this was a playtest session to kind of test the servers, stress the servers a little bit. Maybe this is what they were getting at, that they were talking about that the more people playing, that this game isn't actually, how to put it, ready to handle so many players at one time. I don't know how many people ended up playing the second day, but obviously the second day, I imagine, was probably way more populated than the first day, and I do think that had an effect on the game. I think that had an effect on the servers, and I think that had an effect on the gameplayer's experience. It was still a fun experience. It was still not a miserable experience, but the second day, the best way to describe how it felt to me was like playing Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2, and it being a peer-to-peer connection, you know, where someone just has host advantage. It felt like there was always someone in the lobby who was unkillable, and it also felt like when there were lobbies that I was in, that I was the one who was unkillable. It really felt like that. And then the desync issues were happening, connection, hit detection, aim assist as well felt like it was turning on and off every so often. I thought they nailed it with the sensitivity in that, because I know people complained about that on the first day, and I experienced it on the first day as well. They clearly have done some work to the sensitivities and how it worked, because I actually went back to my old video discussing my settings to check out what settings I was using, used those settings, and I realized they were way different. They were way too fast. So they clearly made some sensitivity and settings adjustments in the background. Obviously, they haven't really said what those were, but there was some changes. So I had to lower my sensitivity down a little bit in that, but eventually I nailed it down. Connection, and I was getting great, you know, I was doing all right with my gun skill in that, right? I was hitting my shots, I was aiming all right. It wasn't too hard to sort out. The sensitivity in that are perfectly fine. Don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. Once you nail your settings, you're good to go in this game, and it was a nice experience, you know. It felt like gun battles in this game, or gun fights, sorry, are quite good. Like, they're quite fun. but they did feel a bit cheesy at times. I don't know if it's because the weapon balance might not be the best. I'll talk about weapon balance a little bit. I think the weapon balance needs to be a little bit better in some regards. So assault rifles, I think, are perfectly balanced. Maybe the ACR's a little bit too strong. Not sure on that one. You guys let me know what you think down below. Snipers, I think some people are going to think they're overpowered. I think they're quite balanced. I think they're okay, to be honest, in the position they are. I think there's a lot of high risk, high reward for them, and I think it works quite well. SMGs, I'm going to say, are in the underpowered. I think just the worst assault rifles were better than the best SMGs in a lot of close and medium engagements. At least that's how I felt playing the Xdefiant. So you guys let me know down below what you think of like the class balance and that. But I personally think the classes could be a little bit better. Obviously, this isn't all the guns. At least I believe it's not all the guns. The scary thing is being this game has had a hard chance of even trying to launch. How much content are we actually going to get at launch? Have we used most of the content? I'd like to think not. I'd like to hope there's more maps than that, because the maps are good. You know, obviously these maps are kind of the same from last time. There's nothing really that's changed. But they're okay, you know, they're good maps, they play well, they do what they're supposed to do. They're not classics by any means, but they're okay, they do the job. But I'm quite worried for the launch of this game, and that's what we'll talk about next. So overall opinion, I'll give it a 6 out of 10 over the 2 days I played, and kind of a little bit on the last day. Wasn't too much I played. Also, those stuns were crazy. Those need nerfing into the ground or something. Those were absolutely insane. Oh, and we'll talk about abilities finally, actually. Abilities. Healing ability is the most overpowered ability in the game. At least that's how I felt. People just instant healing up to 200 health with the super ability. Also throwing down the, you know, the healing thing, or just purposely healing themselves. The healing character is massively overpowered in my opinion. At least that's the way I thought. And then, yeah, the final thing I'll just discuss. People obviously said, you know, and this game has been talking about how there's no skill-based matchmaking and stuff, which there still isn't, of course. But it was quite noticeable that this game was quite sweaty. And I don't know if that's because most of the people who are trying to avoid skill-based matchmaking are actually sweaty players trying to play Xdefiant for the sake of it being less sweaty. But it was actually more sweaty. Now, I know this gameplay isn't going to prove that, but a lot of the games I ran into, it felt like a Call of Duty skill-based matchmaking was on type of lobby. It wasn't, but it did feel like that at times, which is quite interesting, even with the no skill-based matchmaking. So it's very interesting. Of course, it'd be very different when this game launches and is available to everyone, and it's a lot more well-known to the public and, you know, the players who probably don't know so much about this game to be able to launch and play this game. But how close is this game to launching? My honest opinion, I still think it has a bit of a way to go. I think the desync issues, the connection issues that I experienced on day 2 show this game has a little bit of way to go. Things like weapon balance and that aren't too crazy. That's probably not the hardest thing in the world to do. But I think this game's missing something. It needs something to keep people around. I think if this game launched in a month's time, I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked. But it would need some work, I'd imagine. But at the same time, I don't think the game would last very long. I don't think the game has anything, unless they're hiding it from us, you know, keeping it back, which they might do, because obviously this was only a playtest. You're not really supposed to have everything unlocked and everything available. But something feels like it's missing. Something feels shallow about it. I don't know how to put my words onto it. But something just doesn't feel like it's going to keep me around and keep me playing Xdefiant, kind of like Call of Duty does for the whole year. But I want you guys to let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. Let me know what you thought and whether or not you'd be playing this game at launch or when it launches. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe notifications on. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.